Okay, today I just want to talk about the United States housing market. A lot of times I get people asking me, "Oh, what type of market is it? How do you think the market's going to go?" And I wish I had a golden ball that could tell me that. So the reason why I like to look at these statistics is because it kind of gives me an idea of like where the market is heading on a national level as opposed to like individual states, because it lets me know, okay, what cities should I focus on or what states should I go on in tax deeds? Because I personally feel like no matter how the market is doing, tax deeds is one of the best. However, I talk a lot about this in my course about, there's different exit strategies. So what I may buy for a tax deed may be different from a person that is looking to build a portfolio. So this video is probably for individuals that are wanting to build a portfolio of real estate properties, particularly single family, because this data is for single family, which I was pretty alarmed because they basically was saying that as of February 2022, which I wasn't surprised that prices have risen 15%, but they're down 4.9% in sold homes, which I thought was really interesting because um, I'm an active real estate agent in California as well as Texas, and it still seems to be a shortage. So maybe that's probably why the homes are down. There's like not enough houses on the market, which brings me to the point about why I like buying tax deeds and why it's such a good niche, because even though I'm not flipping the properties, it allows me to get a lot of properties for cheap to sell to investors to rebuild them at the market value. So one of the things that I noticed, it was just basically saying, now this is nationwide, you guys, because some areas, of course, homes are, it's unheard of to get a home for 388,000, but they're saying the median average is 388,000. Um, for 2022, and this shows you the number of homes sold, which is 417, and this is supposedly a national average. Another thing I noticed too is that they're saying the national average for a fixed mortgage rate is 3.8%. So this could also explain how this number is going down as well, because as interest rates go up, it's going to make it less affordable for the everyday traditional buyer to purchase a home. So now I'm just going to scroll down here, and this is what I like to look at because as a tax deed investor, you do get properties very, very heavily discounted. Now, when you do go to the auction, you do have competition, but it also depends on the county that you're in. But it was really interesting to look at the top 10 metro fastest growing sale prices. And I was like looking at this and I was like, wow, like 8 of these are all Florida, which I thought was interesting. And what I really wanted to point out is Cleveland, Ohio. Um, this like alarmed me. It said it's number 5, which I thought was very interesting because if you even type in Cleveland, Ohio on Zillow, Trulia, you can get some pretty decent properties. And I just went to their tax deed sale, but they have, when I tell you, they have just stupid prices. Like you could get a duplex for 10 grand. I got a triplex for 12. It's interesting to know because I've had that property and it's been a headache because I'm an out of state owner. But I always say this looks good. To look at this because now it just lets me know that I should keep this and it'll be part of my retirement portfolio because it's saying that it's one of the fastest growing places in the metro. So if you are in Florida, I would highly suggest to look in some of these counties for tax deeds because they're saying that these are the top 10 fastest growing sale prices. So just imagine if you got a really, really, really cheap tax deed in one of these counties, you pretty much will be able to sell it before you even buy it. Okay. So now we're going to talk about the housing supply. And it's basically saying that the supply is down 15%, which, if you're in the market like I have been, wanting to buy a home, not to fix up, but just to, move in ready. I've been trying here in Texas for the last 2 years. So I could believe that the number of houses for sale are down because it's been so challenging to actually um, purchase a house. And a lot of people, I know a lot of people in California, they want to move, but they don't have anywhere to go. And I know a lot of people from California are moving here to Texas, but what they don't know is that the property taxes are high. So even though you get a cheap house, you're going to end up paying for it in the property taxes. But that's why I like tax deeds, because a lot of people lose their houses because of property taxes. So anyway, that's a whole nother story. But this just goes over like the housing supply, and basically showing how it's been down over the years and years. And that probably explains why there has been so many permits submitted in for new buildings. So I'm kind of curious to know what's going to happen. It was down in January 2021, and now it's even dipped even lower in 2022. And what else did I want to go over? Oh, the demand, the housing demand. This to me is just like ridiculous. But as if you've been in the market, the housing demand has been off the hook. Like, it says 47.2% houses sold above list price. So what does that mean for you tax deed investors? That means if you get a super cheap property, and I mean, I tell people this all the time, I do advertise and I do solicit, getting properties for like $2,000 or $1,000. Those properties you can, but of course, for properties that cheap, you're gonna have to fix them up, right? But the good thing is you're getting them super cheap. You could take the time to fix them, and now they're telling you that they're selling above list price. So, like, if an average house, and this is just me, for the sake of numbers, I bought like I bought like 5 properties for $5,000 in one state, and literally each property was probably worth 50 or 60. This lets me know that I could probably sell it for a little bit higher. I also just found out today watching a YouTube video that that's also a fast growing area as well. And they were saying that it probably will be on the map. So I'm like, dang, I shouldn't have wholesaled those, but whatever. You can find that in my little 2000 and below course. I do have that state, and you could still purchase properties. They have tons of property there. Um, but basically, I always look at these analytics and go over, um, if home prices have dropped, or if houses that are selling above list price, because it kind of gives me an idea of what is currently going on in the market. Now, this says 3 years ago. Let's just look at 1 year. It's pretty much the same. So I just wanted to kind of give you a little background, a backdrop of where I go and what I look at when I am investing, or before I go and invest in a state. You can also go up here in the search bar before you decide to invest in a state and see what the trends are. I can't stress this enough over and over again. I've had so many investors lose so much money because they just wanted property. It's so important to do your due diligence and your research before you just go and investing in something because it's cheap. You want to make sure that you're going to make money in your buy. And what I mean by that is if you're going to buy a tax deed, or just buying a property, on Craigslist. Oh my God, they have so many people are selling properties all day long on Facebook, you guys. It's just ridiculous in the groups. So if you are to do that, you definitely want to be clear on what you want to do with that property. And last but not least, I wanted to go over the 10 most competitive cities, which are Colorado, a few in California, Florida, Washington, and Killeen, Texas. Wow. Is number 8. So this kind of gives you the idea of some of the competitive cities. I really like Redfin, even though I feel like sometimes they're limited to their data, because I know that Redfin isn't everywhere, but I like that it gives you kind of like a broad spectrum of like what's going on. And I also like it right here in the search bar at the top right, it does allow you to look at the trends for a specific city or a specific zip code. And I know this is probably like the most boringest video I ever probably did on YouTube, but it's important, you guys. It's so important to just look up a city that you are wanting to invest in and understand the trends before you go invest in it. I just, I could kick myself like 15 million times. I bought a house in Texas, back in 2003. And, that was like before the market crashed. And, here I am. I can't even, get an accepted offer. And so I say that all to say, had I known what I know now, I would have kept it, right? So that's why it's important to look at the trends of a city or a county that you're interested in investing in it, because you never really know what's going to happen, but you could get an idea. You can go back 4 or 5 years, kind of like how this does. It takes you back 5 years, and it's kind of like giving you the trend over 5 years. But as you can look back in 2008, 2009, it was a lot lower, but it's starting to, you see how it just goes up and down, and now it's skyrocketed. But if you notice this trend, it goes up and it goes down. And let's see, let's just look at this now. In June 2021, there was a peak. Let's see when there's a peak. Peak in June 2019. Peak in May and June. So do you guys see the trend? Over the last 5 years, there's always a peak in June. So guess what? If you were on the tax deed side, right, you're buying properties on tax deeds, you might want to start in January and fix it up, because in June, that's when it peaks. So these are like little things that you can allow the internet to help you understand the trends and the data for specific states and cities, or even specific zip codes. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on, market data. And I'm only using Redfin just for this video. I also use Zillow for other things. I also use Trulia, but I like this because it gives you like a nation wide view, but it also gives you, if you were to put in a specific city or a specific zip code, it also gives you detailed information on that as well. So I hope this video helps. Please like, subscribe, make comments if this video was helpful. Until then, happy investing, you guys.